As the first reports break across the world, it does not feel real at first. There is no explosion, no mushroom cloud, no single moment people can point to and say, this is when it started. Instead, it arrives quietly, through screens. A breaking news banner crawls across televisions. Notifications vibrate in pockets. Phones light up in the dark. At first, people scroll. They read. They refresh. And then they read again. Because the words do not make sense. Because the implications are too large to absorb in a single moment. Something has happened. Something serious. Something global. And as the news spreads, panic follows. Not all at once. Not everywhere. Panic moves like a wave. Slow at first, then unstoppable. In offices, productivity stops. In classrooms, teachers pause mid-sentence. In airports, travelers look up at screens, suddenly unsure where they are going, or if they should go at all. Social media explodes with speculation, rumors, leaked footage, and half-confirmed statements. Every second brings a new theory. Every minute contradicts the last. Governments speak carefully, too carefully, and people notice. Within hours, the first systems begin to crack. Stock markets are always the most honest indicator of fear. They do not wait for confirmation. They do not wait for speeches. They react to instinct. And instinct says something is wrong. Screens turn red. Numbers fall faster than analysts can explain. Trading algorithms trigger sell-offs at speeds no human can control. In New York, in London, in Tokyo, in Shanghai, markets that took decades to build lose trillions in value in a single morning. Traders shout into phones that no one is answering anymore. Some freeze in disbelief. Others walk away from their desks, knowing there is nothing left to do. Within hours, financial news anchors stop pretending everything is under control. Words like correction disappear. Words like crisis replace them. Banks respond the only way they know how. They close. Not permanently, they say. Just temporarily. For safety. For stability. For review. Metal shutters roll down over glass doors. ATM lights flicker, then go dark. Online banking apps load endlessly, and then stop. People line up outside branches demanding answers that employees do not have. Because the truth is simple and terrifying. Money only works when everyone believes it will. And belief is evaporating. Across cities, ATMs flash error messages. Out of service. Transaction failed. Try again later. People try again. And again. And again. The sound of machines rejecting cards becomes a rhythm of anxiety echoing through streets. Cash disappears. Digital money becomes unreachable. Savings turn theoretical. And that is when the power begins to fail. At first, it is dismissed as coincidence. A maintenance issue. A local outage. But then another district goes dark. Then another. Entire neighborhoods lose electricity without warning. Traffic lights shut off. Elevators stop between floors. Hospitals switch to emergency generators. From the sky, the pattern is impossible to ignore. Major cities, once glowing symbols of civilization, begin to flicker like dying stars. Rolling blackouts. Planned, officials claim. Controlled, they insist. But people can feel the difference between control and collapse. Mobile networks strain under the weight of millions trying to call, text, and stream at the same time. Towers overload. Signals drop. Calls cut out mid-sentence. No service. Two words that have never felt so heavy. For the first time in decades, people are unreachable. Families cannot confirm if loved ones are safe. Emergency services struggle to coordinate. Information fragments into isolated pockets of fear. Silence spreads. And in that silence, instinct takes over. People move toward one place. Food. Grocery stores fill faster than during any natural disaster in modern history. Carts collide in aisles. Hands grab whatever is left. Water. Canned goods. Anything with a long expiration date. Shelves empty in minutes. Employees stop trying to restock. There is nothing left in the back. Arguments break out. Then fights. Then silence again. The kind that follows when people realize there is no more to take. Modern cities were never designed for this. They were built on assumptions. On constant delivery. On uninterrupted systems. Most major cities carry only 3 to 5 days of food. 3 to 5 days, if everything works. And nothing is working anymore. Warehouses stand full but unreachable. Transportation networks fail without power and fuel. Supply chains, once global marvels, unravel in real time. The illusion of abundance collapses. Glass towers loom over empty streets, monuments to efficiency without resilience. Modern civilization reveals its fragility. Governments appear on television, urging calm. Presidents, prime ministers, officials standing behind podiums with flags carefully placed behind them. Their words are measured, reassuring, practiced. They promise stability. They promise solutions. They promise that there is no need to panic. But trust is already gone. People notice what leaders avoid saying, what questions go unanswered, what timelines are missing. Broadcasts glitch, feeds cut out, statements contradict earlier ones, and the message becomes clear, even without being spoken. This is bigger than anyone is admitting. Across the world, military movements quietly accelerate. Troops reposition, airspace closes, naval fleets disperse, satellites track everything, until some of them go dark. No declarations are made. No official war is announced. Because this war does not begin with speeches. It begins with systems failing, with connections breaking, with everyday life becoming uncertain. By the end of the first 24 hours, the world feels different. Heavier, smaller, more dangerous. People stop asking if something is happening. They start asking how bad it will get. And then comes the realization, slow, unavoidable, and chilling. This war is not approaching. It is not building. It is not coming. It is already here. Not on distant battlefields. Not only between armies. But inside cities. Inside networks. Inside the systems that once made the world feel stable. The first day ends not with explosions, but with darkness. And the understanding that tomorrow will not be better. It will only be more real. Once blame is assigned, everything changes. Not because the truth is clear, but because decisions can no longer wait. In moments like these, the world does not ask who is right. It asks only one question. Who stands with whom? Behind closed doors, phones begin to ring. Encrypted messages move faster than headlines. And documents written decades ago, documents most civilians have never read, suddenly become the most powerful forces on Earth. Treaties activate automatically, not through emotion, not through anger, but through obligation. Agreements signed in peacetime, debated in calm rooms, and forgotten by the public, now awaken. Lines written in legal language transform into real-world consequences. A promise made years ago now demands action, and there is no pause button. Emergency meetings are called within minutes. In Brussels, NATO leaders rush into secure rooms. Some arrive without sleep, others without certainty. Large screens glow with maps of the world, red zones, flashing alerts, live satellite feeds. Generals speak in measured tones. Politicians choose words carefully. Every sentence is weighed, because one wrong phrase could move armies. This is not panic. This is procedure. Article clauses are read aloud. Scenarios are reviewed. Response options are listed. And while the public still argues online, the most powerful military alliance in history is already preparing for the unthinkable. NATO does not ask if it should respond. It asks how. Because once the threshold is crossed, inaction becomes a decision of its own. Across the world, the same process begins to unfold. In Asia, defense pacts activate. Security agreements once described as precautionary now take on new meaning. Naval commands receive new orders. Air bases move to high alert. Joint task forces that existed only on paper become operational overnight. Radar systems are recalibrated. Missile defenses are tested. Command chains tighten. Allies check on allies. Not out of trust alone, but because uncertainty is more dangerous than coordination. The Pacific grows tense. Warships reposition. Fighter squadrons disperse. Strategic choke points are suddenly watched. With obsessive precision. No shots are fired. Not yet. But the silence itself becomes heavy. Because everyone knows what comes next. Then, something even more dangerous happens. Neutral nations begin to feel the pull. Countries that tried to stay out. Countries that avoided choosing sides. Countries that believed distance would protect them. They receive calls. Diplomatic language fills the air. Shared security. Regional stability. Mutual responsibility. But beneath the words is pressure. Economic pressure. Military pressure. Political pressure. Because in a global conflict, neutrality becomes a luxury few can afford. Airspace access is requested. Ports are discussed. Intelligence sharing is proposed. Each small cooperation pulls a nation one step closer to the storm. And slowly, the map begins to change. Countries once marked gray turn blue or red. What started as a single incident now involves dozens of nations. Not because they want war, but because the system demands alignment. Globalization, once praised for connection, now accelerates escalation. Financial markets react before diplomats finish speaking. Supply chains shudder. Energy routes become leverage. Stock exchanges fall not from bombs, but from fear. News networks switch to nonstop coverage. Experts debate outcomes. Former generals explain scenarios. But no one can explain how to stop momentum, because momentum is no longer human. It is structural. Troops begin to mobilize. Quietly at first. Orders are issued without public announcements. Reservists receive messages on their phones. Military convoys move at night. Boots hit concrete. Engines hum in the dark. Cargo planes lift off with no insignia. This is not invasion. This is preparation. But preparation has a gravity of its own. Once soldiers are deployed, once equipment is positioned, once supply lines are active, turning back becomes politically impossible. Because standing down looks like weakness. And weakness, in times like these, is seen as invitation. Airspace closes. Commercial flights vanish from radar screens. Departure boards fill with one word. Cancelled. Civilian skies fall silent. In their place, military aircraft take priority. Refueling tankers. Surveillance drones. Rapid response fighters. Every unidentified signal is questioned. Every blip is tracked. A single miscommunication now carries enormous risk. Because intense airspace. Seconds matter. And mistakes do not get apologies. Borders harden overnight. Temporary checkpoints become permanent. Soldiers replace customs officers. Concrete barriers appear where roads once flowed freely. Families are separated. Trade slows. Refugees begin to move. Not from war zones yet, but from fear. Passports lose power. Visas are suspended. Trust between nations thins. The world begins to resemble its darkest chapters. Not because history is repeating itself exactly, but because human behavior is. Every side insists they are acting defensively. Every press conference repeats the same message. We seek stability. We will protect our people. We are responding, not provoking. And each statement is true. That is what makes it dangerous. Because when everyone believes they are defending, no one believes they are escalating. Weapons are positioned just in case. Missiles are armed as a deterrent. Exercises are conducted for readiness. But readiness looks identical to preparation. And preparation, to the other side, looks like intent. History has taught this lesson again and again. Before every major war, leaders believed control was possible. That escalation could be managed. That lines would not be crossed. That rational actors would remain rational. But history does not move in straight lines. It moves in pressure, in misunderstanding, in miscalculation, in moments where someone reacts too fast or too late. And when alliances are active, a single spark does not stay small. It spreads. Because once everyone prepares for defense, offense becomes inevitable. Not by desire, but by logic. Not by madness, but by momentum. And in that moment, the world does not fall into war suddenly. It slides, quietly, relentlessly, until one day, people look back and ask, how did it get this far? And the answer will be simple. It always is. It started when alliances activated.